The Homesteads to Hollywood podcast is a CJSW original production funded by the Radio Meter Program Grant through the Community Radio Fund of Canada. In the spirit of respect, reciprocity, and truth, we would also like to acknowledge the traditional territories of the people of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta. This includes the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprising the Siksika, Piikani, and Kainai First Nations, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Stoney Nakoda, which includes the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Goodstoney First Nations. The city of Calgary, traditionally recognized by the Blackfoot name of Mohkinstsis, is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Districts 5 and 6. Part 7, Connecting Through Cinema. From Cool Runnings to The Revenant and Brokeback Mountain to The Last of Us, cinematic star power didn't just happen to Alberta. In fact, the province has a long and illustrious history in film that has developed into an internationally renowned industry. From Homesteads to Hollywood, Alberta takes center stage in this 10-part exploration into how things came to be and where they're going. My name is Liam Daw.
And I'm Ingrid Vargas. Together we'll be peeling back the layers of Alberta's intricate film industry to answer the question, just how did we get here? There are many elements that each play their role in this ecosystem, such as a storied past, a vibrant underground, a deep talent pool in the trades, and of course, the continuous run-on blockbusters.
My favorite thing about CIFF is that it is wild in, that it's like got a looseness to it. It's not trying to be fancy, which I love. There's like kind of a bit of a renegadeness to it, which is really fun. Of course, the film selections are absolutely awesome. And like the general vibe of like people who come to CIFF is what makes it awesome, because everybody's like super chill. And folks from like all different walks of life that are here for interesting movies and interesting curation.
It's the sound and the roar of the cannon blast that brings film from the...
In Part 6, we brought Alberta's film institutions into the fold. Whether they're intangible organizations or physical structures, the different degrees of support for filmmakers in the province is evident and multidimensional. If you found yourself wondering why Alberta's esteemed film festivals were curved in the last episode, well, the simple answer is that we believe that they deserve their own standalone installment in this series.
Film festivals are in many ways the lifeblood of the entire industry. They are a place and space to celebrate and experience art simultaneously. They are also a much-needed platform for independence, and most importantly, they are entities that harbor and promote community. Since 1999, the Calgary International Film Festival, or the more commonly referenced CIFF, has showcased films on domestic, national, and international levels to local audiences.
For a quarter of a century, CIFF has been an integral part of Alberta's film sector, and like any healthy organization, it's had to change with the times.
My name is Brian Owens, and I am the artistic director at Calgary International Film Festival. I came here right before the 20th anniversary back in, I started in 2018, but that festival was 2019. We're about to celebrate our 25th anniversary this year. I was actually, as artistic director, was a new position. They'd been working with the programmers, reporting directly to the executive director in the previous 20 years. So the festival began in 2000. The movie Way Downtown was the very first opening night film, kind of a Calgary classic.
Kurt's done this before.
What's he done?
At university. At Carleton, they have a tunnel system that connects the buildings to the residents. And get this, Kurt Schwinn went a full year, undisputed champ.
Who told you this?
I don't think I could go a year.
A year?
That's what I heard, a year. Thompson was a couple years behind him. Apparently there's still a bit of a cult of Kurt there.
A year? I never would have gotten into this if I'd known that. He cheated.
We asked him, remember?
He lied. He withheld information.
Not really. I'd kind of heard, but not really, and I didn't think it was so long.
You knew?
On average, we present about 200 films, features, and shorts made in the province, made around Canada, and also all around the globe. We have an attendance of around 35,000, and that's back to sort of pre-pandemic levels. You know, in the beginning, it was more around like 4,000 or 5,000, and so it's just grown steadily over that time period. Again, hiccups during the pandemic, but we're recovering nicely. I think the thing that's changed the most, at least over the last 5 years since I've been here, is parallel to the public screenings that everyone gets to come and enjoy. We've actually built up a 4-day session of events specifically for people in the industry. And so that's helped grow our reputation amongst the Canadian film industry and the regional film industry in allowing people who do work in the business to network, to gather, learn from one another, and then make connections that can hopefully boost their careers over time.
As much as festivals like the Calgary International are about showcasing art from around the world to our own backyard, some of the most important elements to these celebrations are the cultural crossovers.
These kinds of events truly are chances to connect with each other and establish new understandings about film, yes, but also about life. At its essence, CIFF is about bringing people together to share stories both face-to-face and on the big screen.
It fascinates me how much of a learning experience CIFF can be, and I mean that like in many senses of the term. It's fascinating to watch someone come in not knowing, say, much about a culture, and then seeing a film, talking to a filmmaker, and learning and growing together. I still find that I do that myself to this day. I congratulated a filmmaker whose acceptance letter's already been sent out for the upcoming festival, just on how much I learned from her movie that I didn't already know. And I'm about to turn 55, and so to still be learning and growing, that's what you get, whether you're an audience member for a publicly screened film or an industry audience member who is hearing someone like Pascal Plante or Adam Ogoyan tell their stories from their careers. It's a fascinating place to learn, grow, and connect, and that's my favorite part about it.
It's undeniably in the name. CIFF imports film from across the globe to put on display here in Alberta. And as much as that is true, the festival also puts a strong emphasis into showcasing art, not just from this province, but the Canadian prairies as a whole. If you've had an opportunity to listen to some of our previous episodes, such as Film Fatale or The Prairie Problem, you'll know that these kinds of platforms mean everything to local filmmakers. Getting the chance to connect on an artistic level to peers from around the region works to strengthen the network of talent out west.
I think one of the things that we do is we really do highlight the prairies, where we're from. You're not going to see as many Alberta films at any other festival as you are going to see here, but not just Alberta, also films from Saskatchewan, Manitoba. It's nice to share those stories. And, sometimes they do make it to TIFF or VIFF after us. And we want those stories out there as much as possible. And we'll do our part to help launch those films. A couple of years ago, an Alberta made film called The Maiden that actually world premiered at Venice prior to our festival. So that was sort of like welcoming home our cinema heroes, because they had actually seen their careers go all the way to Venice. And that's one of the things we like to do with the festival is work with our local filmmakers. We'll program their shorts or maybe their debut features, and then we get to watch them blossom and hit festivals like TIFF, Sundance, Venice. And that's one of the things that we are really proud of, is being that regional launch pad for young people who are starting out in their careers in the area, especially.
What are you drawing?
Right now, I'm drawing a beetle on the log.
Oh, sick.
I like to use the pen to make the feel of the metallic on the
like
shell.
the sheen of the beetle? Yeah, totally. Is it a unit beetle or what?
I don't know. It's just a beetle. I find huge-ass spiders in my basement often.
Right? Spiders can be sketchy.
Actually, I kind of like that stain.
Between features and shorts, and it's been growing, but more recently, we get over 100 Alberta-made features and shorts. And it used to specifically be only 10 shorts made it and only 6 features made it, maybe even less sometimes, depending on what happened. What I found in the last 5 years, especially, and these past couple post-pandemic years, is those numbers are just continuing to go up. So as the number of quality submissions comes in, then we're going to keep expanding the amount of Alberta-made content in the festival. Lest someone thinks the reason their feature didn't make it is because we had Anatomy of a Fall in the festival last year. Those are two very different things. They don't compete against one another. We have approximately 100 feature slots and approximately 100 shorts slots, but we reserve some specifically for Alberta-made content in the festival.
As you may know, CIFF's home for the previous decade, the Eau Claire Cineplex, recently closed their doors for good, leaving the festival without an operations hub. In May of 2024, the festival revealed their 3-year recourse plan, an avant-garde quote-unquote constellation model that will utilize state-of-the-art projectors to transform unorthodox spaces into screen-ready cinemas. As a response to the shrinking number of traditional screening venues, this plan centered around mobility and flexibility is the first of its kind. And if the CIFF Brain Trust can pull it off, it might be a signature component of the festival's future.
I think people are going to be really excited about how it's going to look. But just so that people are aware, too, that the strategy that we're about to announce is a growth strategy, not a maintenance strategy. And we think these new changes can draw in new audiences, can expand our industry footprint, and can really grow the festival into, I would say, we are the top regional festival in the prairies, but I think we can become known as one of the top regional festivals in North America if we get everything right as we move along these next few years.
Opening night, our 21st Calgary Underground Film Festival. We've got 2 screens of people here, and everyone jumped on this opening night film, so thank you. My name is Brenda Lieberman. I'm festival director, one of the lead programmers. To my right, Cameron McGowan, lead programmer.
My name is Brenda Lieberman. I'm one of the co-founders of the Calgary Underground Film Festival. We started now 21 years ago. Calgary was young and nothing like this existed, so we decided to create something that had no rules, basically, and we were formed out of the different staff from the different artist-run centers. When we first designed CIFF, we decided that we wanted to make really incremental growth changes throughout the year and just keep it really contained. So our goal was to showcase films from one end of mainstream all the way to the extreme of experimental or underground or edgy that we wanted, and just kind of have no real rules within that artistic vision of our organization, but stuff that we were passionate about and that we felt Calgary audiences wanted to see and experience.
The year was 2003. The first ever CIFF screening was held at what was more recently known as the Hi-Fi, but back then it was called the Venue. The screening got shut down by the AGLC, and CIFF had to move 70-plus attendees across town to M Media to keep the party going. There's many years of CIFF lore, but one of Alberta's biggest film festivals had humble and unique beginnings, driven by community, artists, and a lot of determination.
We made our way down to the festival this year to experience its magic, and the opening night premiere had a lineup stretching down 8th Avenue. Between the staff, volunteers, and hundreds of ticket holders, it didn't take very long to find CIFF enthusiasts willing to vocalize their love for the festival.
Oh, I love CIFF. I've been going for years. I love how weird the movies are. I think it's super fun. I love the hot dog bar, and I just love hanging out with people who love good art in the city. I love the community sense here. I think that it's great to see a lot of people come together for something that is so fun and so not-for-profit, and everyone just wants to be part of a good time together. I think it's huge. I think that Calgary just got named like 8th best place for filmmakers to live and work. We're the #1 shooting location as far as Cannes was concerned. I think Calgary is a huge growing film market, and it's just great because it trickles down. Like, there's the big stuff, obviously, with like Ghostbusters and Disney shooting here, but it just makes other people want to get more involved. We see a lot more independent cinema makers saying, yes, there is actual viable cinema being made here, and it's just super fun to be a part of it.
I'd say we are quite unique in Canada in terms of the film festival landscape. Aside from the way we've grown as the size of a festival, that we're not just specifically genre film or really edgy underground film, we've really become this huge mix of genre and quirky independent cinema, filling kind of a unique void here too of showcasing these festival titles that are doing the major circuit, but also films that, might not have an opportunity to even play as art house cinema in Calgary. So we've been very influenced or inspired by other festivals worldwide, including Fantasia in the East in Montreal, but we also love films that we see at South by Southwest and all sorts of the indie gems from around the world. So I haven't really discovered another festival in Canada quite like CIFF.
It's one thing to support and encourage local filmmaking, and another to expedite it directly. CIFF's involvement with grassroots cinema in Calgary goes beyond their programming, as the festival finds entirely unique ways to engage with industry creatives. Whether it stems from their now-renowned 48-hour movie-making challenge or newer initiatives such as script-reading workshops, the Calgary Underground Film Festival has always made an effort to focus on community development.
Right from the very beginning, we've always wanted to embrace and support and foster, encourage local film and production, and not even just to showcase it, but work with different local filmmakers in different ways. So we had started the 48-hour movie making challenge a whole number of years ago. I don't know, probably 15 years ago or something. And when we first started it, it was a way to try to help build and foster that next generation of young filmmakers, whether you're coming out of school or haven't gone into school, or to play around and have some fun with your friends and have a way to exhibit it. And I would say that, coupled with that and trying to look for new films each year from the community, even outside of that challenge, I just think each film festival in every city, regional festival, has kind of a place to serve to support their community of filmmakers in whatever way you can within your, size and scope. And we just try to make it a priority every year. And I think there's the, big productions that come in, and a lot of us have been involved on the film side of things and production, but also there's the independent scene that I think is really important to be a part of too. So, I just think it's something that we want to continue to do. We always have done, and always looking for new innovative ways to do it, including the script reading challenge that we've started to introduce a number of years ago.
Yeah, that's a pretty new one. What sparked that idea for you? Because I've heard it's kind of like your baby.
We're always looking for ways to do things that feels, authentic and new and true to our festival and what we kind of could get behind, but that's also different than what each group in Calgary is trying to do industry-wise or experience-wise. And, with the different artist-run centers doing different industry sessions, and the Calgary International having their industry component, there's a part of us that we want to continue to have industry sessions and components within the festival, but, we didn't want to always have it be about a panel. The script reading gives us an opportunity to celebrate and workshop and discover a new feature script and do something a little bit out of the box within the festival to get people just involved in thinking from a Alberta lens. I think the future of CUFF, in my mind, and I kind of feel like maybe within our team's mind, is to continue to be able to do what we're doing. And I don't think any of us feel like it needs to get bigger again outward, but more just, how can we continue to do what we're doing and just keep making it kind of bulge. So more people out to the current screenings that we've got, more guests in attendance to speak with the audience and the local filmmakers, and just continue to elevate the whole experience of what we've got that we've already built. And, if we fit in a few more off the cuffs throughout the year, or, do a little bit more at Cuff Docs each year, that's all really great. But I think I like the size of the festival. It is just an amazing experience. The more people who discover it, and that we could get them out to the stuff that we already have kind of planned each year.
So we shout and we scream, you better run or we will set you free with the war.
The hardest part about highlighting film festivals in Alberta is that there are dozens, each deserving of some recognition and a closer look. Ongoing celebrations like the Edmonton International, Banff Mountain, Fairy Tales, Dream Speakers, and Okotoks Film Festivals are just some of the many who contribute to the fabric of Alberta's cinema community. The Nordlys Film Festival in Camrose, Alberta is one of the province's most interesting. From humble beginnings in a family garage to an annual takeover at the historic Bailey Theatre, the Olsons have been steadily growing Nordlys into something that not only involves most of Camrose, but has become a destination of sorts.
My name is Mardell Olson, and I'm the chairperson of the board of the Nordlys Film and Art Society. This film festival evolved and began originally in our home. We were looking for something as a family to do together, multi-generations and so on a family day weekend. And we decided to have our own little film festival for the weekend, rented some international subtitled films from around the world and watched them in our basement. And over the course of the next 10 years, friends and neighbors started joining us. And by year number 10, In our home, we had 170 people sign the guest book. They weren't all there at the same time. They came over the course of the weekend, and we had to have overflow crowds watching the films on a bed sheet in our garage with a projector.
Over a decade in, many components of Nordlys have changed, but as with any family affair, most of the traditions have been maintained.
It's very much the same event, to be honest, and it's truly a grassroots, volunteer-powered event, just like it always was. And we still like to travel the world watching films from around the world, plus local. We still have music like we did in our garage. We are called the Film and Arts Festival, so we have local musicians. Sometimes we even have a feature concert if it ties in with the film. For a few years, we had a poet in residence. Yeah, definitely there's lots of traditions that have come from the original festival in our home.
And so, considering Edmonton and Calgary's various film festivals, how does Nordlys stand out and offer something different?
Well, I think one of the big differences is that we are in one venue together for 3 days, and we don't move from place to place. And so it's easy to strike up a conversation with someone you've never met before because you've just shared the experience of watching the same film together. Yeah, it's the community feel. And when we do have people return, it's kind of like a reunion every year. Because we are completely volunteer run and a very passionate group, it gives us the chance to think outside the box and do things maybe a little differently than most industry run festivals, I would say. We have special things in our festival. For instance, our Sunday classic film. I mean, our films through the weekend are current, local, international, Canadian films. But on Sunday, our first film of the day is our Sunday classic, which can even be a silent film. It can be an old film. And we have an in-house expert of classic cinema named Dr. Tron Tronson, and he gives us about a 20-minute slideshow before we watch the film, and it's our own little Nordlys film school. We get our education. Yeah, and Tron helps us. He leads the curation for that of choosing the film, and it's a special gem.
What started as a family movie night slowly but surely grew into one of Camrose's most celebrated annual events. With so much love for the festival, the Olsons needed a larger space to accommodate not only the locals who cherish Nordlys, but those from around the province and even beyond who come into town to celebrate. The Bailey Theatre happily opened its doors to the festival, and now, each year, hosts the Family Day Long Weekend festivities in early February.
The Bailey Theatre, I believe, is 114 years old now. And so it's been part of the Camrose community since the very beginning. Over the years, it's shown silent films and vaudeville shows, had wrestling and boxing matches and dances. So the Bailey Theatre is an amazing historic site. And I think it's one of the oldest existing theatres in Alberta. And it's a very special place, and it makes a great home for our festival. I feel that the festival has a bright future because we have so many passionate volunteers, and we have community sponsors who support us in a big way. We don't rely on any government funding, so we don't have to worry about that part. And our attendees are very enthusiastic and come back year after year. But I'm always surprised at how many new people there are every year who have heard about it, heard about our little gem of a festival. And we have newcomers every year, which is great fun.
It's the call to the fire that brings your boys away. And now it's the sound and the roar of
In essence, film is expressive and a medium for storytelling, but it wouldn't be nearly as intimate and binding without the festivals that celebrate it. Whether it's an international exhibition or a basement get-together, Alberta's deep contingent of film festivals are as much about cultivating a community as they are a platform for the arts. We'd like to extend our appreciation to Brian Owens, Brenda Lieberman, Mardell Olson, and Tron Tronston for lending us their experience and expertise for this deep dive that ultimately could have gone so much deeper. In Part 8, we'll be traveling 300 kilometers north on Highway 2 for some much-needed time exploring Alberta's forgotten film hub, Edmonton.
In terms of like the independent film scene, Edmonton, just from an audience standpoint, is very genre heavy. Like the audiences love horror and can't get enough of it. And so I think you see some of that reflected in the films that get made here. I think Edmonton also has like an incredibly strong documentary scene. All different types of documentary, but things that tend to lean a little bit more experimental or creative nonfiction, as well as like a lot of Indigenous issue-based documentaries. I think the most classic example now of like genre film in Edmonton is the film Skinnamarink, which in some ways just like brought together so much of what has been happening underground in the Edmonton film scene for so long, because there is like this mixture of almost like high art with creepypasta internet culture. Like it's just this kind of meeting of different influences and like just very low budget, very experimental and genre all like kind of mixed together.
Homesteads to Hollywood is a CJSW original recorded and produced in Calgary, Alberta. Our outreach coordinator is Natalie Schmidt. Audio editing is from Maria Pladneva. Assistant production and research from Ingrid Vargas, and is executively produced by myself, Liam Daw. Music for this episode, including the theme track you heard during the intro, is composed by Calgary's own Young Neighbors. Other music is from Edmonton-based indie rockers, The Velveteens. Film clips used throughout the episode, in order of appearance, are from Gary Burns' 2000 cult classic Way Downtown and the 2022 Graham Foy feature, The Maiden.